like both of you basically said push it along, so it kind of answers it for it.
Yeah, kind of.
The one thing that I to sort of switch subjects, as a player, especially if you're like me and you struggle to pay attention if you're not like actively trying to push an objective, like, oh yeah, chaotic. What do you do to try to on the player's end to keep pacing up, like, or to keep yourself attentive when the pacing does seem off? Because I think we've all been in a game where you're like, what the fuck is going on right now? What are we doing? Why are we here?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the big one for me, I think I brought it up before, was it was in that game that we were playing while we were all still, that I was in while we were still in school. And the very last thing we did is we went to Cardell's like character home. He had rejoined the party, and there was the good old fashioned, here's the magic disease that you can't solve with magic, and everyone's like, what the fuck? I hate this shit.
Yeah.
And for like, I shit you not, like 5 or 6 weeks, we were trying to figure out the cure and just fucking around in the town, not knowing what we were supposed to be doing. And like, especially if you didn't have proficiency in any of the like intelligence-based skills to do research, you're just sort of fucked. Like, what do you do in that moment to sort of, excuse me, to try to push things back on track from, with the limited power you have as a player? Or what do you do to sort of fight your way through the bad pacings?
Well,
I go for it, Josh.
I was about to say I have 2 different answers, but I guess this is actually kind of the same answer. This is kind of easier for me to say because I'm kind of already this player naturally. But I just designate myself as the we're getting shit done player, and I just start pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and being like, in a situation where nothing is going on and the GM's getting annoyed because like, why aren't you guys doing anything as players? I will be the player that speaks up and say, all right, what are we doing next? What's up? What's going on? Where are we going? What do we need to decide on? Like, I'll start either asking the players or asking the GM, where do we need to go next, or what are we doing next? In the situation where the GM is roadblocking me, get ready to play 20 questions, GM, because we're going to sit down and have a chat. You're giving me a lecture now on every medical scenario in the book. I need you to tell me what this hibiscus root does. I need you to tell me what the roses might do. I need you to tell me if I interrogate the alchemist, if she can give me, like, I'm going to just start diving in on, like, if you're putting roadblocks in front of me and that's why we're, like, not making progress, I'm going to be on your ass so hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to start asking and drilling for every possible question from you as the GM, because obviously when that scenario happens, 9 times out of 10 the GM has the answer in their brain. They're like, the players must collect the lavender from the graves of the dead nearby because they are blessed by the souls of those who have passed. I'm just gonna keep drilling down until the GM tells me to check out the fucking lavender bushes. He'll tell me eventually. Like at a certain point, I'm going to start fucking kicking every bush in town and being like, what about this flower? What about this flower? What about this flower? You know what I mean? Yeah. That's kind of how because A, it gives me something to do, and B, I get fucking annoyed. So like, that's how I deal with it.
Fair. I mean, yeah, I'm similar with the like 20 questions and like you've experienced this yourself. When I feel like I'm back to the corner, I'll just try fucking anything.
Oh yeah, you
until I get a solution that I want.
You get aggressive is the only way I can put it. If you don't feel like the clear and obvious, or not clear and obvious, but if you feel like every option has been cut off, you get like aggressive, like in a very not like a fighty kind of way, but in the way of like, I'm gonna just start trying and doing things like with no regard to my own like quote unquote safety, or is to say your character safety. Which, yeah, it's fine. And when that shit happens, right? If I'm in a scenario, actually, I will give you a very specific example, Isaiah.
Oh shit, putting you on blast.
No, this is actually putting myself on blast.
Turns lantern back around on Josh, putting you on blast.
Yeah. You guys are in the Manatide, right? And you had fought through the sort of ghost of the city, right? And you had left, you had broken out of the like weird barrier that was around it, and you're making your way up the like path, and there was the mind flayers in front of you guys, right? And like probably about 3 times, you guys tried to do something, and then I said, well, no, actually that would cause this to happen, at which point we rewound, and you said, okay, never mind, we're not going to do that, right? Like in a couple of different cases that happened. Until at a certain point, I just straight up said, I was like, you don't need to fight them. Like, you could go around them. And you're like, how do we go around them? And I'm like, your characters can fly. There's a pathway above. You know what I mean? Like, it got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm fucking this up in the sense that I'm either not being clear, or the situation is just weird, or I described something by accident that I didn't mean, or I forgot to describe something, or I did describe it and you didn't hear me, right? There's a lot of that. That happens all the time.
Misunderstanding, yeah.
Yeah, you'll describe something and then like a player didn't hear you, or they misunderstand what you meant by it, and then the thing you were describing is the solution, but they didn't hear you, so they don't hear the solution, and then they get mad thinking there is no solution. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. I think for myself, it's just Operation Rocket Man. I think a lot of things lead back to. I think Operation Rocket Man was a defining point for me in my player career of being like, the GM says you see a bunch of Abishai and fucking what are they called, Manticores, and like some Wyvern Riders, and went, nope.
What the?
I don't want to do that. No, sir, not doing it. That's gonna take 12 ever. Fuck.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
you.
That is
not really fuck you, but fuck this.
that is kind of like, yeah, I mean, that is basically what I'm talking about, right? Where you just fucking go for it, and it's like, I'm just gonna do the craziest idea I have.
Yeah, we're gonna put enough spells in one orc to turn him into a fucking lich, and hold on to his ass for dear life as we rocket to the moon. So this is a similar thing happened with this.
I want to hear what Matt has to say.
Oh no!
Okay, you go.
I was just saying, let him finish. I'll go after.
Oh no! I had a similar situation happen in the same campaign. Like 3 sessions later, we had to steal an artifact, and I kept being like, GM, what about this? And he was like, no, well, they'll catch you. Like, oh, what about this? Like, oh, well, you know that they can do X, Y, and Z. And I was like, oh, okay. So this is what we're gonna do then. And I gave Luna, I gave him some like enchanted items that let him teleport. Because I was like, okay, they won't know that you're like, they'll know that magic's being cast. We don't have to worry about that. We're all magic users. They have to expect it. We just need you to sneak in and then teleport out. Say again. You sneak in, teleport out. You sneak in, and they teleport out. And I just like, I was kind of being an asshole. Now looking back, I was like, simple AB procedure. And then he teleported in. And I had to sneak out.
He snuck out.
I just sat there, and like, I know it's not 100%, but like the me going back and forth with the GM until I found a solution, because I just felt like it was taking too long. But then Luna was like, so I'm gonna use the coin to teleport in, and I just sat there like, I'm gonna kill something. I'm gonna commit murder.
It's like one of the best and worst moments, like as a GM, when like the players are like they're making a decision, they're planning, and you're like, yes, and then one player's like, nah, I ain't doing that, and then just, you know, Leroy Jenkins somehow into whatever they're doing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Fucking
out here just like you.
Like it's like the it's the Tom and Jerry meme where Tom is like looking at the camera, and then there's the ghost Tom smiling evilly above his head. Like that's the play of the DM. I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to happen.
You know what I have to say to that?
Oh,
I got my chicken.
Nice. What were you gonna say, Matt, about how you deal with problematic pacing as a player?
As a player,
Fuck, that sucks.
I guess because, like, you know, being like we're all DMs, I kind of always do like anything that is the most like narrative or the shiniest. like option, I'll always grab it. I'll always try and go for that. And if I like keep hitting the walls, then I'm like, all right, well, I guess this is the option. I'll just try and figure out another best like narrative option or something, like try and like keep going at it. Kind of like Josh, where he's like, I'll just keep, I'll keep going, like pushing through.
You're probably nicer about it than I am, though.
Because I've never had like a super hard DM like roadblock me. I feel incredibly lucky that I haven't had, besides the one Adventure League thing, I don't have that many bad DM experiences. That is my one bad, the Waterdeep Adventure League thing. That's my one bad DM experience. Otherwise, I've had pretty great DMs.